Welcome. Welcome to Quarantine with Styles, aka Driving with Styles. I'm back. And I'm glad you were watching. You are joining me on this wonderful Monday. So let's get into it. First, before I even get into any sports, first, you can hit me up on Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, with any questions, statement, comments. I appreciate all of those. It makes the show interesting. Before we go into sports, one thing that's been bothering me, and I've been letting it slide for some time, but today I saw a damn gumbo recipe online, or image of a dish that someone called gumbo online today. And being a guy from Louisiana, the origin of gumbo, what I saw was embarrassing. If you are not from Louisiana, please stop talking about gumbo. Because I'm going to tell you something. Even us from Louisiana have a lot of arguments about gumbo. Should gumbo have okra? Should gumbo have chicken, which is really how it was originally created, with chicken and okra, but then it changed. There's some seafood, and the way you get your roux is different. The way you thicken it up has different components. But please stop posting gumbo pictures, please, unless you really know what you're doing. Please. What I saw was a freaking beef stew, and they put gumbo. Stop it, people. Please. It's making us locals very upset. It's like one quick story before I get into sports. I'll never forget. My wife and I went to a new establishment that was supposed to be Creole, Cajun, whatever cuisine. And I went there and I ordered gumbo. And when I got it, I'm like, dude, this is not gumbo. Now, this is how bad the establishment was. The waiter had me talk to the owner, who then brought the cook out. Your cook don't know how to cook gumbo. Why are you asking me? The same thing with this guy who posted a picture. His picture was ridiculous. But if he followed, it's not his fault. Because whomever gave him that recipe needs their ass whooped. Because if he followed the recipe and the outcome, the finished product was what he showed online, and he was kind of proud of it, means the recipe is horrendous. I don't know what else to say. Let's stop posting pictures of gumbo, please, unless you really know what you're talking about. So first, and I normally don't, talk about men's basketball. But I had the Driving with Styles on Friday, right? Yes. Or Thursday, I can't remember. And I was talking about this UT game and how it was needed for us to have something good happen for us. And boy, did something happen good. These guys are playing ball for once. They're not. There's far from a. I don't want to say. They haven't made it to the mountaintop yet. They're not even close to it. They're at one of those rest areas when you're trying to climb Mount Everest. They're one of those mid-mountain rest areas where everybody sleeps and get their energy back up. That's where they are. Because they haven't played a complete game yet. But damn, that was a good first half. And once I it's too bad that they can't continue the momentum with the cancellation of games, but it can also be a good thing for them. Get that mental break because they've been grinding for so long, and let them give a minute to appreciate what they have come out of. I think is a good thing. But I'm gonna tell you, Jacob Toppin is probably the difference in this team. Everybody's been. Is anybody screaming for about Cal not playing Jacob Toppin? Like we've been screaming about Dante Allen for so long. Is anybody screaming about him and why we haven't played him earlier? Because that guy is putting in work. I think his emergence is the difference for this team. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think what he has brought to the team, because he can play good defense, good mid-range game, his energy, his athleticism, is a difference maker. That's enough about me. But that was a big game for us. For us to go into UT and put Rocket Top down their throat in football and basketball is huge. Great win. Now, let's talk about the downer, which is different because usually it's flip-flop. I'm very disappointed in the women. Very point blank. I thought this was a year that we would have a chance to challenge the South Carolinas, the Texas A&Ms, the top echelon of teams in the conference, the Mississippi States, and we just have not. I'm disappointed. Going to South Carolina knew it would be difficult, but we let a game get away from us in Lexington. If we would have won that game, maybe I don't feel so bad. But we got swept by South Carolina. That's not a good look. Maybe I don't feel so bad, but didn't lose to Ole Miss in Oxford, losing that game, and then coming back and losing South Carolina. Not coming back. There were some games in between, but losing this South Carolina game, the way that we lost it, it hurts me because I really put some stake in this team, being a different team, adding the players that they added. And we're just not quite there. And it's unfortunate because I thought this was going to be a year for us because I thought it was a down year for the UConns, the Notre Dames, the big time teams who are using the Final Four. Louisville is not having as great a year. I know they're still putting wins up on the board, but they're not as dominant as they have been recently. And I thought this was a year for us to possibly get to the Final Four. And right now, I'm not so sure. There's a lot of things that's bothering me, and hopefully we can get a good region and maybe make some noise in the tournament because I think we have pieces. We have SEC hype, but the SEC hype isn't performing like I thought they would. And Ron Howard needs some of that help in the big games. When she's not on, or teams are focusing so much, which they should be on her, the others need to step up. As Shaq would say, the others need to step up, and we just have not been stepping up in big games. And it's unfortunate because I thought this was the team. Because we lose Kiki next year, and those are big shoes to fill. Maybe not on the stat sheet, but everything else, the intangibles, the stuff that is not put on stats on paper. And losing her is going to help. It's going to hurt. Now I know we got some young talent in Leverator and Treasure, but still, losing her and losing Tad is going to hurt us a lot. Now, that would be another year with them on the LZ, so should help. But, geez, man, I thought this was a perfect year for us, for the women to take that next step and get into the Final Four. All right. Next thing is this Pittman deal with Indianapolis. It is very interesting that just because a quarterback comes to your team, that the player who has the quarterback at former number is supposed to just give it up. Each player has an identity with their number. I'm sorry, Carson Wentz isn't Tom Brady. Carson Wentz isn't Peyton Manning. He is not that guy. Where maybe as a player you feel, okay, man, he's just the GOAT and he's so great, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. How dare I not give that guy that he's synonymous with that number to him? Carson Wentz isn't on that level yet. And Pittman has been wearing this number since his rookie year. We don't know if he may have an organization that has 11 in it. Plus, it's a new start for Carson Wentz. He needs to change that number anyway. It wasn't like he ended his tenure with Philly on a great note. They got rid of him. Tom Brady went through free agency. Manning went through free agency. Philly got rid of him for Jalen Hurts. Different scenario. So for people who I've seen people talking about, well, how dare Pittman keeps that number, etc. Are you serious? And it's not like Carson Wentz been in the league 15 years and has worn number 11 for 15 years. And he is, when you say number 11, you think of Carson Wentz. You don't. When you think of number 16 during the time, thought of Manning. When you think of number 12, you think of Brady. I think of other people, number 12. But now it is Brady. And that's the truth. I mean, I'm TB12. I mean, it's kind of hard to disassociate it from, even though I'm not a big Brady fan, but it is what it is. Facts are facts. And that's a fact. But these people who think that Pittman should just naturally give up his number are crazy. Some people say, oh, he's not going to get thrown to. That's crazy. When you're Carson Wentz coming out of what you've come out of, you're going to throw it to whoever's open because you need to improve your reputation in the league. It used to be great. Nah, not so much. So this number 11 deal is ridiculous. No one is just giving a number. You just don't give up your number, just give up your number. Just saying, it's Carson Wentz. I'm not a baseball guy, but this Fernando Tatis deal makes me a little happy. And one thing I really wonder about this is the influence of Kobe Bryant. I might be stretching this, reaching, but Kobe is the last guy, if I can remember correctly, last superstar who was playing with one team his whole career. I think that is having an effect on some of these young guys, not everybody, but on some of these. With Tatis signing this 14-year deal, that's big, especially for where he's at. It's not like San Diego is a traditional powerhouse. They've had some great players. My man Tony Gwynn, rest in power. But for him to play for San Diego, for the Padres, and want to be there, to me says it all. It's like Patrick Mahomes signing his, 10-plus year deal. I think I could be wrong, but I really think Kobe is having an effect on some of these young talents. And maybe it's having an effect on some of these ownerships understanding how taking care of your stars can help. Because the Lakers taking care of Kobe, I'm sure, help them get AD and get Bron. So I think that showing that wanting to take care of your players is another thing. So Kansas City, San Diego, etc. are stepping up to the plate because they know they are once in a lifetime players and they're not just going to wait. Like Dallas, unfortunately, waited with Dak. And they are paying for it. Dak got hurt, but he still got hit, what is 30, whatever, 2 million? And they franchise again, he's going to make another 30 plus million. When they could have signed him, when they messed up, I don't want to get into that with the length of the contract and why they're fighting over the length of the contract. Dallas should have signed him before his final year, and they could have signed him to a 5-year deal. Would have been the year he had his 5th year and 4. They trying to add 5 years on to the 5th year, so that's 10. Players trying to get that money, trying to get that new bonus as soon as possible. And Dallas screwed that up. It's flat out. They had the chance and they didn't. And Dak bet on himself, and he had that great 5th year, and then they had to do something, and that's when they franchised. Unfortunate. I'm not a Dallas fan, but I'm a Dak fan. If you know, I'm a Dak fan. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is this Mariners CEO. Then I'm gonna get up out of here. If you all think he's the only owner that thinks the way he thinks, I can sell you some gumbo like I seen today in the picture. And you'll pay big money for it. That's the problem with some of these owners. And these owners are the same. Not all of them are the same, but a lot of them come from the same cloth. If you think Donald Sterling was a one-off, you were mistaken. If you think the Mariner CEO, president, / whatever is a one-off, you were mistaken. A lot of them think that way. It's unfortunate that a guy who owns a team with a diverse clubhouse thinks the way he thinks. But he's not the only one. All right, I'm going to give you your about 9 minutes back. I appreciate you guys watching. Take care of a good rest of your Monday evening. And I will see you on Wednesday.